Hey guys, so I had a lovely thing happen a few weeks ago, and I thought I may as well share with the group, just as a way to add a bit of goodness into all the horror and misery, because that's what I used to be about before all the shit fuckery of being a targeted individual. Um, anyway, I come down to this little, I call it, it's like my little bunker that I like to come down to after I've seen the ducks. And for a few weeks there was a grey cat hanging around here, just in that hole down there. I heard this hissing in there, and I called him out, and he came out hissing like a roaring lion, and he looked pretty traumatized, but at the same time he was like desperate for company, and he looked both ways, and he gradually crawled out. And I had some cat food, because there's often another cat that I feed around the park, and so he ate that up, and he was like a little bear, a circus bear on his hind legs, brushing against me and meowing his head off. And he was looking up at me like a dog, and he would walk around with me like at my side, and just absolutely desperate for company. And I just assumed he was meant to live here, so I gave him a little bit of food every night for a few weeks. So I wasn't even sure if I should be, if he had already been fed, because there's often another cat here he's here to be like the resident ratter, like to keep the water rats population in control. He's not a very good ratter, because I've seen him like watching the rats swimming across the river, and he can't be fucked a lot of the time. Fair enough. But anyway, the resident cat was having like a dispute with this imposter cat that the cat I was talking about that was traumatized and hissing and wanting affection. And so the original cat couldn't go back into his hole to sleep at night, so they were both pretty distressed by the situation. And anyways, after a few weeks, I put an ad on Facebook and said, has anyone lost a grey cat? And there was like 4 people, I think, all had lost grey cats, and so it was all very confusing. And I ended up bringing the cat home to stay with me, and after finding out from the owner of this place that he wasn't welcome here, and he was actually getting like water sprayed in his face and stuff, so to try to get him out of here, and it's pretty awful for the cat. And so I got a pet cage from the free vet in the area, and the cage was a complete shitter. Like the door fell off it. I think it had been like UV weathered in the sun, and like the latches just broke off, and there was no door over the cage. And so I've got the cage down here, and I'm trying to like bundle the cat into it, and then I had like a cardboard box in the car that I like pushed over the top of the crate, and I've got the crate like on its end like that, with the broken door at the top, and the cat's trying to crawl out, and it's just a fucking nightmare. But I got the cardboard box over it. I got managed to drive the cat home, and he was pretty chilled actually. He walked in, he was a bit distressed at first, and then within like half an hour this cat just chilled out, I think on the second day he had cabin fever and he was like yowling really, really annoyingly, like up for about 2 hours, just like constantly. And I was like, oh man, how am I going to get to sleep? Because I need my sleep, man. I don't know how people can go without that. But yeah, incredibly, this cat, he just went under my bed. There's a nice little spot there between one of those kind of like bunk bed things, but it's like it's hard to explain. Nice little gap anyway of like 20 centimeters, and he snuck in there, and he was out like a light for 12 hours. So that was his favourite spot, down behind the bed, and he would hide away there much of the time. I think he was just really happy to be safe. You know, a nice little dark, cozy spot that he could chill in. And sorry, I'm just trying to tell this story in the right progression. And yeah, he's an incredible cat. Like, I'd put the newspapers down on in the living room, and it was a bit of a test of intelligence. I opened it up at the centerfold of the newspaper, and it was an advert for the Press, the mainstream newspaper. And he passed the test. He took a big dump on the propaganda, so well played, cat. So that that made me respect him even more. And then interestingly, he went over to the other newspaper and took a pee on that. So I found that quite interesting, that he would shit on one and then pee on the other, as if maybe he knew that it would like soak through or something. I don't know. So yeah, anyway, I back and forthed it with these people who had lost grey cats. There's a hell of a lot of missing cats at the moment, and yeah, I don't know where they're all going, but anyways, we finally found one lady that was promising, and she said, like, does it have a bad teeth? And sure enough, it did have some bad teeth. And then, did it have a white spot on his front, like just by his neck? And sure enough, it did. And does he have a stripy tail? And I hadn't actually noticed it because it's very subtle, but he did have that as well. I think it had faded a bit, and so it was looking really hopeful. And the lady was going to come around the next day and just see if it was her cat. And she turned up, and she still wasn't sure. And then she was patting him, and he did this little like trademark roll, and yeah, she got really teary-eyed, and she was like, oh, it's him, it's Dylan. And so yeah, I found this woman's cat, and he'd been missing for 3.5 months, and he was actually 12 years old. So that was like, I was mind blown by that this senior citizen cat could go it alone for presumably for like 3.5 months. And he's actually lost the far side of the park. The park I'm usually at, it's a pretty big park, maybe like I don't know, like 500 meters long, I suppose. So anyway, he'd come from that side to the other side of the park and then along a bit. And I don't know where he'd been for for the first 2 months, but he'd spent probably about 3 weeks here at least. And I felt a bit shit. I'd only been feeding him like little portions of cat food. I was calling him the KGB cat because he looked like a Russian blue. It's like a beautiful smoky grey cat. And it's kind of apt, I helped the agent come in from the cold. I think he was on a bit of a mission to terminate with extreme prejudice, like all the river rats in the area. It was a bit of a futile mission, so kind of glad I made him come in from the cold. And his family as well, they had 2 little kids, so they were like so happy to have him back. So it was a really good outcome, you know. It was something that actually made me feel kind of good, which is quite rare these days. And yeah, so the other cat that's often here, I call him like the CIA cat. I was calling him the CIA cat for a long time because on Facebook there's someone had posted a thing about cats and how some of them were hacked or something, some crazy project that the CIA did. And so I was calling him the CIA cat before the Russian blue cat arrived. And it's kind of funny, like their bunker, it says like no dogs past this point, you know. And then here it's like don't feed the birds. So it is like some edgy cat bunker. I don't know, it amuses me anyway. And so yeah, I was meaning to post actually some videos of the cat, me and the cat hanging out, but I'm just a bit wary nowadays because, you know, any light in this place seems to get like crushed, so I don't really like posting, sorry the audio's a bit loud, I don't really like posting, you know, beautiful things that I love online because you never know if it will get like crushed. You never know if someone will like be like, I'm gonna go and fuck up that cat, fuck that guy, you know. So I gave him a head start, and now that he's gone I figure I may as well share it. So yeah, his name was Dylan the cat, and it was kind of fitting because I gave him a can of sardines, so we were going to share it. It was like on our last night together, and he had like half the tin, and then he was trying to climb up onto the bench, and he was basically singing like Bob Dylan in a very gravelly like cat voice, and so I ended up giving him the rest of the tin. And it was amazing how much he could eat, you know. He had like half a chicken breast one night over a long time, you know, all ground up, and yeah, gave him some milk as well, and had like probably like 7 small or tiny like half saucers of milk one night. It's just, I don't know what he'd been living on, this poor cat. So yeah, anyway, he's definitely a special cat, that one, to be able to, you know, to be 12 years old and be able to survive on his own for that long, and to still be that vibrant. Like, he was in pretty good condition. I'll probably will post a couple of videos about him. You'll see in the videos it's like just really what's the word, vibrant, you know. He's in really good shape, and despite having water sprayed in his face and being hated on, you know, by everyone. And there's a couple of ducks mating over there, I don't know if you can see that. It's like one duck's riding the other one as they do. But yeah, despite all that, he was still like, he was still really friendly and craving love. As I said, he would come out of that little hole in the wall, and he would like look side to side, and then he would come out, and, you know, after the first couple of days of meeting him, he would recognize my voice, and he would come out, and he would like brush against me and do his little like circus bear thing, and, you know, headbutt me. And it wasn't even about the food, you know, he just wanted the company. He would follow me down there and back, and follow me out to the car. And And yeah, it was really fucking nice having a cat in the home for a bit. Of course, tension with family, like, but yeah, I could see how, I was reminded of how much easier it is to be in a decent mood with a cat or an animal around you. So anyway, I helped Dylan, aka the KGB cat, a probably a mixed breed Russian blue looking cat, come in from the cold and yeah, reunite him with his family. So that's pretty nice.